Our subject in this tape is developing an offense against the drop-back defense. We've, in recent years, started to see a lot of drop-back defenses, and they become very sophisticated, a lot of different approaches to it. This hasn't always been the case, particularly in the United States, where most often we've just had to face the press. Most teams have been pressing, occasionally a drop-back, but not something that we would see all of the time. Actually, drop-back defenses have been there practically since the start of the game, and particularly in Europe, the European teams have dropped back for years. But being very honest with you, these were more of an informal, casual type of drop-back, more of a sloughing style of defense. Not a lot of sophistication, and the reason for that was that the 2-meter guard could check the offensive 2-meter man with a considerable amount of force and get 1, 2, several fouls, and if it appeared like he might be in ejection trouble, a switch could be run, and the 2-meter man really was not in the game offensively for a number of years. And as I say, although teams sloughed, there wasn't really a reason or a purpose to have a sophisticated, a complex drop back for the offense to break. This all started changing after the 1980 Olympics, and by 1981, although there were no really major rule changes regarding 2-meter play, the interpretations of the referee, or the interpretation of the referees, started to become one of allowing the 2-meter man to work with the ball and really not allowing the defensive 2-meter guard to check with any force at all. And where before seldom would you ever see an ejection on the first foul, oftentimes now the guard, if he overplayed it all, was gone on the first foul. Second foul certainly, and rarely would anybody be around after 3 fouls. As I say, we started to really start seeing this internationally in 1981. Gradually it's come into the refereeing styles here in this country. And what it has forced is a new style of defense, a drop back, which will give some protection to the 2-meter guard, to take the 2-meter man, the offensive 2-meter man, out of the game. Otherwise, and it's very common to see as many as 30 ejections now in a game. And 10 years ago, this wasn't the case. You would never see that many 6-on-5 opportunities. But that, believe me, now has become the case. Well, with that, it's very difficult to press. You're pressing out, you're allowing, if the offense has any skills at all, you're allowing that ball to be moved to the 2-meter man. And 1 or 2 fouls, and chances are you're playing a man short. With that, we started to see now a lot of dropbacks. Dropbacks from the 6th spot, from the point, from 11 and 1. There's all kinds of different dropbacks, and that'll be a subject of another film when we're actually talking about the defenses themselves. But our purpose today now is to learn how to set up an offensive structure which will be effective in breaking any style of a drop back. And as I say, I just can't emphasize how important this is at this point in history. Now, it's my opinion that the defenses are way ahead of the offense at this point in time. Maybe, again, because this is of recent vintage, where we're seeing more sophisticated drop-back defenses, I don't know. But certainly it's forcing all of us to be more creative in our thinking as we attempt to break the drop back and keep our 2-meter defender in the game and reduce the number of 6-on-5 opportunities for the opposition. All right, on the card here, I've drawn, I'm going to show, and we're going to look at the 2 most popular offensive structures in water polo today. And this would be what we would call the umbrella. And the umbrella is an umbrella because set up like this, it looks like an umbrella. And the umbrella is a wonderful, wonderful offense against the press. There is no question that the umbrella is the way to attack a press. Simply, you have full access to your 2-meter man. He's generally offsetting the center of the cage, either the right or left, opening up driving lanes, one side or the other. Allows for nice cross-cage driving, allows for running picks, gives plenty of room for the drive, but also spread out gives plenty of room to advance the ball to the 2-meter man. And as I say, in my opinion, there is not a better offensive structure in the world against the press than the umbrella. You have all advantages: 2-meter shots, 2-meter ejections, drive shots, drive ejections. As I say, it really is the way to go against the press, the umbrella. Now, on the other side of the card, the other extremely popular, and particularly in the United States extremely popular, structure of front court offense is the 3-3. And again, it's called a 3-3 because we have 3 across the inside line, the 2-meter men, the 2 wing players, and outside we have what we call the flat triangle. And at this point, and we're going to really get into this, but I emphasize the fact that they are in a triangle out here and not straight across. Any 3-3 that plays straight across in the back line is just opening themselves up to counterattacks, but also it takes away passing lanes. You just can't be going over defenders with the ball and be advancing it effectively. But the 3-3 is, certainly an efficient offense against the press. It's probably used by more high school programs than any other style of or structure of front court offense. It has certain limitations, however, against the press, but it also has some pluses. Maybe we should look at the pluses first. By spreading it out in the 3-3, we have wonderful access to our 2-meter man. And, you know, as people are pressing out here on us, we have wonderful access. Even if he's being fronted, we can bring the ball around and in, and generally, as I say, we can get a line of passes into our 2-meter men. So certainly we can feature 2-meter play, which also gives us the advantage of the new emphasis on ejections and also the opportunity to shoot the ball. Now, as far as a driving offense, you're really pretty much limited to strong side or near side type of drives, and right away you can see what the problem is. You can't really drive from any of the 3 outside positions as you could in the umbrella and not be driving into one of your own players, and of course that player is sitting there with a defensive man as well, plus you have the goalkeeper in there, and you are really in any type of driving in a 3-3. It's hard to just do pure one-on-one driving because there isn't any place to go. So what do we get? We get what we call strong side driving, and we get lots of picks. Lots of picks are run off. So I would have to say against a press, the 3-3 is very usable, but it gives you prime access to your 2-meter man, and it's a great offense for running picks. I do not think it's a good offense for the actual driver or drive type of game. For example, you can't really cross-court drive or cross-cage drive. In the umbrella, you know, the great Spanish player Estiarte from 1 o'clock, with this player moved out and giving this room across here, I mean, he's made a living. He's living with a cross-court drive from the 1 o'clock position. It's the highest score in the world. And certainly if Spain were playing in a 3-3, this would be an impossibility. And in turn, you wouldn't be driving all the way across here to set a pick because it's not time efficient. So, at any rate, it can be used against the press, but it is most effective against the press with the 2-meter man and the picking game. All right, its limitations, we've just said it. There's no place to go that you're not running into one of your own players. So I would say where the umbrella is an outstanding offense against a press, that the 3-3 is an average offense. It's a limited but okay offense against the press. But against the drop back, it is, in my opinion, the only way to go. Now, I'm going to go back to the other side because this is the subject of what we're doing, is trying to beat the drop back. And let me just say this. As soon as these players quit pressing, say the ball is over here, as soon as they quit pressing and start dropping in, if a team stays in an umbrella with no front line, the drop can come in here and has a very short ways to go among these players, a very short ways to go to really take the 2-meter player out of the game. In turn, the drive can be easily picked up, very easily picked up by other players because everyone now is dropped off of this. The players are having to come from too far. The drive doesn't move as fast as the ball can be passed, and really it's very easy for a drop-back defense to defend an umbrella. It's just very easy. Plus, even if you get it to your 2-meter man without it being stolen or without him being hurried, once you bring the ball outside, several of these players will be at relatively weak angles for a quick type of greeny type of shot. So, as I say, the umbrella is, in my opinion, is not the way to attack the drop back. Now, what we have seen, and later in this tape, we are going to really take a look at the umbrella working against a press in game situations. And we'll look at the umbrella working against a drop back and running into some real trouble. And then we'll look at a 3-3 working against a drop back, and I think you'll see a whole different picture. Now, if you're in an umbrella, to get this man off, you're almost required to swim him off. Someone has got to swim through to get him to come across and leave here to clear the hole for a pass. The problem is, as these players have dropped in a considerable amount, and you take the big European style of defensive player, the big man, who can have his legs up behind him, say facing towards the point of the goal, all he has to do, simply as the drive is coming to take the man off, he just steps back, and one step, the driver's had to swim 2 or 3 strokes, he goes, and the next man just steps right back in. So, yes, you can take the defensive player off of the 2-meter man by swimming him off in an umbrella, but by the time you reposition the ball, chances are that the 2-meter man will not be available. Someone else will have stepped in there because it's such a short distance to go. And a lot of times we get very useless drives. Let's just say this man is defending here, and he'll drive to try to pull him off, he'll drop in, pick him up, and as I say, in my opinion, it is not a good offense at all in which to attack the drop back. And in fact, I think if you use this style of offense, you may have greater difficulties than you would under other circumstances. All right, now let's look at the 3-3 against a drop back. And I think you've got the picture of my opinion on it. This is the way to attack the drop. Now, basically the 3-3 is a structured, more of a static offense. The idea is to control the ball, not turn it over. Use your 35-second clock. The idea is to get this area cleared out, to take advantage of the 2-meter man, both for shots and for the opportunity of ejections. And incidentally, let me just say this. The only place that you're going to stop the clock in a 3-3, the 35-second clock, if the other team is in the drop back, will be with a foul at 2 meters. And we're going to look at the 3 rules that you must follow to be able to get the ball to 2 meter and stop the clock with a foul, and hopefully maybe an ejection as well. But that's a very important consideration, because just passing the ball around out here, you can run the whole shot clock off, because if these players are dropping in here and these players are not just waving the ball and not advancing it, as we'll show you how to do in a moment, there's a big problem with this, because you can run 35 seconds off the clock. By the same token, you're not turning the ball over either. And I've always felt that a team that plays great defense and controls the ball offensively has a great shot at winning. So that's, again, one of the beautiful aspects of the 3-3 against a drop back. You will have very few turnovers. All right, now let's look and see how this defense works against a drop. And let's just bring in this man here. We'll drop him in, and we'll put the ball here, and we'll be playing out approximately like that in these spots. All right, we are in, and we're just going to look on this board, because I don't want to get too many arrows going in every direction. We're just going to simply look at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock defensive players dropping to take the 2-meter man out of the game. All right, let's look at the rules in the 3-3 that must be followed to make it work. Number 1 rule is the 2-meter man sets center cage. He doesn't offset like we did in the umbrella. He does not offset either side, because we need the shooting lanes cleared, and he must be center cage, so that we've got shooting lanes from all 3 of the people out here, and that is very important. All right, the next thing that is very, very important is that the 3 outside players be in what I would call a flat triangle. If this player penetrates, if this man is dropped off,
he must reset the triangle as soon as he's released the ball, either the 2-meter man or to someone else. So 2-meter man is center cage. We have a flat triangle outside in the 3-3. All right, now, once we're structurally set up that way, let's just take these players here and just simply say they're going to stay on balance to the goal with an arm up so that they're always ready if the ball should come, say, across here, if this man were dropping too far, that they can get a quick release shot. But in most cases, they are just simply tying the defense down. The defense, if they leave them too far, we will take advantage of that. But basically, and again, obviously they're in a position where they could be counterattacked from, but we will use what we call a rocker arm there, and if this player is penetrating in towards this defensive player, this player will etch out just a little bit just in case, because this is a power shooting offense. If this player is coming in, he'll rock around just a little bit here and then back it, kind of like a teeter-totter type of a situation. All right, the 3 key rules. Let's put the ball here. Number 1 rule is the ball is always with the freest man. The ball is always with the freest man. All right. Number 2, the boy or the man with the ball must be attacking the defender. You can't sit out here and wave it. You are attacking in hard on this defender. Now, we come to the number 2 rule. If we get this, then, as we come into the shooting area, when we get this defender starting to move out to check us here, we do one of 2 things. And the next rule would be always go to the 2-meter man. Don't force it. You never force the ball there, but as soon as we clear up the 2-meter area, we want it there, because this is where we're going to get shots, but this is where we're going to stop the clock, but this is where we're really going to get the ejections. And it's very difficult, and Roy Campanella once said it when he was back playing with the Brooklyn Dodgers, I think, when he said, you know, I never saw a man that could outrun a baseball. Well, there is no one that can outswim a water polo ball. And as you can see, we're not going to do basically no driving in this particular offense. We are going to out-position the defense in their drop back by the pass, by moving the ball, which will move faster than the player dropping. All right, number 1 rule, as we've said, we penetrate, the ball's always with the freest man. With that freest man, we are attacking in, we get the commit. One of 2 rules follow now. The second rule, if this man comes out and checks here, we're going to put the ball in because the hole is free. If this man has already dropped off very, very rapidly here, we follow the next critical rule, and that is the ball is always with the freest man on the outside, and that can be any one of these 3 players. In this case, if this player is coming in, as this player moves out to check, the freest man is going to be over here. Now, that doesn't mean he shoots it. It just simply means that that's where the next pass goes. And then we follow that number 3 rule, which is always to attack in. So we are attacking in. We are always getting the ball to the 2-meter man when he is free without forcing it, but any time that he's up or free, the ball comes into him. And finally, if that's not there, the ball is always with the freest man outside, and we are attacking in. And the idea is simply that the defense, again, is not going to be able to keep up with, they'll be out positioned eventually. And then we come to the final thing, which is just critical, as it is in 6-on-5 shooting, and that is that these players must be trained as specialists in their positions, and all 3 of these outside players must be quick release shooters. They must be able to catch and shoot, and that is critical. All right, now, with that in mind, your offense is really based upon this triangle and these 4 players here. This is your offense against a drop back, these 4 players here. Each player, as I say, is a specialist. The 2-meter man is a specialist as a shooter, as being able to absorb the foul and pass the ball and work for the ejections. All right, this preferably is a left-hander. This should be a left-hander, and you should train your left-handers here, and he needs to be a shooting specialist here. If possible, this person should be a left-hander, but if not, a quick-release right-handed shooter. If you have no left-handers, this must be a quick-release right-hand shooting player. And the teams have this. In 1984, Doug Burke played that position as a right-hander marvelously. Mike Evans on the 1988 Olympic team played this basic position marvelously. All right, over here, a right-hander, always a right-hander, and again, a quick-release, good-legged shooting specialist here. And finally, this is your quarterback. This is the person that is going to have to be working the most out here, and he needs to be a marvelous shooter to both corners, preferably low, and particularly when the goalie is screened out here, and it's just beautiful to attack in here, catch this player starting to drop off, come back here and shoot this type of shot. And believe me, they'll open up. But I've just got to make a comparison with NBA basketball or NC2A basketball. This is really what you have. You've got a postman, and the postman isn't out playing the point guard. He's a specialist. He's a specialist. Your power forwards are specialists. Everybody's a specialist. Against the drop-back defense, you want to get the motion out of there. You want to get the movement in with the ball, not with the body, but with the ball, well, with the body as far as attacking in on the defender, but not swimming through and taking 5 or 6 seconds off the clock while you reposition and get nothing. The ball, as I say, will move quicker, and that is the idea, and you have a specialist in each position. These players need to be picked, selected, as I say, and trained, and trained. And, hey, the Lakers, the Detroit Pistons, they've got their three-point guards, and as I say, those three-point guards are the people that are taking these shots out here. And this is now, with the drop back, and with effective drop backs, more sophisticated drop backs, rather than the old slough style of defense. This is the type of offense we have to be able to run to make the thing work. Now, as we move, we're going to move over to the pool. We're going to take a look at a whole series of drills, very simple drills, that teach us how to make this, first of all, this triangle outside work, how we relate it to our 2-meter man, how to get the whole 3-3 structure. And then after that, after we've looked at the drills that build the drop-back offense, then we are going to, this time, have spliced in some films of, as I said earlier, umbrella going against a press and seeing why it is effective against a press. We're going to look at an umbrella against a drop back and see why it isn't effective against a drop back. And then we'll look at a 3-3 against a drop back and see how beautifully that can work. All right, off we go to the pool.
Right here. Moving poolside, we're going to take a look at some of the 3-3 shooting drills that lead to the breaking of a drop-back defense. And as in the case with most of the shooting drills that we use in my instructional films, we start from the simple and move to the more complex. Now, we're going to change camera angles here, and you'll see the first drill. We have a shooter at the 1 o'clock, and we have a shooter at the 11 o'clock positions. They are simply cross-passing the ball, using the legs, faking, getting the goalie locked on, hopefully giving a chest fake, and then a quick release shot. And that is really the purpose of this drill. Twofold here, really. Number one, to get the goalie locked on, and then number two, to make the good cross pass for the quick release shot. Now, that shot was taken late. The goalie was sinking fine, but that's really not what we're after here, all right? There's the fake, faking. Again, really looking at that goalie and the quick release in for the goal. Now, this is the simplest of the shooting drills, and you can see how they're penetrating. All right, now that ball was dropped. As soon as the ball's dropped, the next group comes in, and that's very important because we're really stressing passing accuracy. There's another drop ball. We bring in the next pair. And you can see here they're tacking in, working, hitch, and the fake, and faking again. Nice cross pass right back, quick release through to the shot. Exactly what we want.
Excellent shot. All right, now, moving right along, I'm going to move them out and into a triangle. Now we are working the outside triangle. We want a flat triangle. We must keep the triangle configuration in order to keep passing lanes open. Now, if the point penetrates in, simply for the shot, if it wedges out, then he'll move back out to reset the triangle. All right, here we go with it, looking, same thing, same concept, good passes, getting the goalie tied down. All right, and the shot. All right, you ready, Merck? Here we go. All right, we got the triangle set. Let's widen it out a little bit at 1. Keep it wide. We want them spread. Let's get wider at 1 o'clock. We're too tight at 1. All right, he's moving this way a little bit, and again, the quick release for the shot. I won't say we'll never shoot from a fake, but if we set it up correctly, the fake ties the goalie, then we want to move the ball to the shot. Very nice, coming back, there. All right, and again, very nice. Now, I'll tell you what really works well in this is the pass from 11 back to the point for the quick release shot. We'll take a look at a couple of those, but notice they're keeping the triangle configuration. All right, they overpassed the ball. Next group coming. Can we have a ball? Here it is. Here we go. Keep that triangle. Don't get too close. We're too tight. Triangle is pushed up too much at the point. Keep that point opened up. Cross pass and the quick release to the shot. Now, please. All right, because this is something that will really set up quite often as we work back and forth. Nice fake here and there, and they're exactly what we're looking for. The low shot to either corner with the 2-meter man who's always center cage on this, helping to screen out the goalie. All right, let's hold it there. We're going to move on to the next drill. Very simply, put a 2-meter man. We're going to put a 2-meter man. We're going to keep the same concept with the outside triangle. Same concept. I'm going to blow a whistle. We're not going to allow the 2-meter person to have a shot in this particular drill. We're going to force him to put the ball up to the greeny type of shots. All the shooting will be on the perimeter, but for example, if you get an off-balance pass, let's put it into the 2-meter man, because we want to follow that rule that we discussed earlier, and that is the ball is always with the 2-meter man whenever it opens up. Because of the way this game is called now, we're going to get those ejections. He's been put back into the game. We want him shooting. We want him getting the ejections. So we've got to work the ball to 2 meters. But basically the shots are going to come from the perimeter. All right, let's start it with some triangle passing. Ready? Play ball. Nice passing, very nice. Working the triangle. They may shoot it. All right, it's coming in. There's the foul, up with the ball, and the quick shot to the goal, we hope. All right, here we go, next group. And again, the emphasis obviously is with the outside passing, and they'll take that shot whenever it's created. All right, now he was off balance. He wasn't up with his legs, was off balance, and that's why that ball didn't carry. All right, here we go. Coming in. There's quick foul, ball is up. Nice. Nice. All right, beautiful. That can't be better executed. That's definitely what we're looking for. Let's look at it 2 more times. 2 more times. Working the ball in. Basic idea of the triangle. All right, coming across. Working the ball. It's into 2. There's the foul at 2. Foul's back up. A little higher pass out there. And there's the quick release as soon as we out-position the goalie. All right, one more time. One more time. Here we go with it. Okay, good passing, good legs. You've got to have legs. There's the foul. She's bringing it out there. Oh, almost for the quick, and there it is. All right, we get the general idea there. That was pretty nicely executed. All right, moving on quickly to the next drill. We're going to put a guard. We need a guard on the 2-meter man. Nobody on the outside triangle. We want a guard on the 2-meter man. All right, while we're getting this set up, now we allow the 2-meter man. I'm not going to blow the foul so quickly. The 2-meter man can shoot if he so desires. This is, again, we keep adding to this as we build it eventually up to 6-on-6. But I'll tell you right now, the 4 key players in beating a drop back, the 4 key players are out there. And that's the outside triangle and the 2-meter man. Play ball. Okay, again, keeping the passing lanes open with that triangle. There's the foul. Get to the ball. Get it up quicker. Ball's got to come up quicker than that. Working it around. And there's the shot. He had it set up. He had the corner. Missed it, but he had the corner set nicely. I'll tell you, we want to do a lot of shooting against a drop back from the point. All right, next group coming. Coming in. Nice. Yeah, and there's the quick release. Caught the goalie looking away. Here we go with the next group. Play ball. Okay, move. All right, overpass. Next group comes. Ready? As soon as there's an overpass, because this is really ball handling. You're not going to execute in the game if you can't pass the ball. All right, very nice. There it is. He gets it up, and the quick release, but again, the defense was lined up on it. What would have been beautiful there would have been the big chest fake, the cross pass to the left-hander at 11, and the easy goal. All right, 2 more times with this. There's the foul in there. Now, I'm blowing a quick whistle, but again, we don't have to do that, and we can go to the animal drill at 2 meters in there if we like. One more. Here we go. All right, there's up. Nice fake there, and the quick release to the shot. Beautifully set up, and that's what we're after. All right, let's hold it there for just a minute.
All right, now, the next step in building our drills and making it now much more difficult and really getting to the heart of the 3-3 offense, we are putting defense now not only on the 2-meter man, but also on the 3 players outside. And as we say, the proof is in the pudding now. This is really where the execution has to take place if we are going to be successful in breaking the drop defense. Now, for purposes of this drill, we should be just dropping from 11, 12, and 1. Now, later as we get more sophisticated, we might just do a point drop. We might drop heavily just from either 11 or 1 or a combination to really create a lot of puzzles for the offense to solve, but not in the early going. It's just not intelligent to make it too difficult to start with. So we want to start with success. Remember this is the first time we've looked now at really full defense. Now all we have to do is have to add in 4 more people, and we have 6 on 6. All right, now you saw we got the ball alive, and we're working the triangle configuration. There's the foul in the hole. All right, and the 2-meter man or the 2-meter guard just dropped off a little bit. Now that's not going to happen often, but we're doing this, really just off the top of our heads out there in the field of play, and that happened to open up. And it was a good idea. It was a good pass through to a 2-meter goal. But that obviously isn't going to happen often. That 2-meter guard isn't going to go that asleep. All right, we got the ball. I get it live. We're penetrating in, always to the 2-meter man when it can be there. Now, there is a good example, and we do learn so much from these tapes when a mistake takes place. Now, in this particular combination, we don't have a prime set here for these drills, and so we're working with not with a 2-meter specialist, and we get some turnovers. We'd never want to turn over from 2 meters. This is a very deliberate meat and potatoes offense. There's a better pass out. Now, we got to attack in, ball always with the freest person. There it was. The point saw that the 2-meter man and the guard were shielding or screening out the goalkeeper, so he put the ball up. That's a choice, and that particular situation will come up often. Right here, attacking in. Okay, poor pass. Now you see, we're chasing way out with that defender. That isn't what we want in this drill. And again, this is the first time that a lot of these players have gone through, and many of them are used to pressing, and we just stop it here a little bit and get the defense to really do what we want. But remember, we are working against a drop back in this case, and we wouldn't want to be chasing out that far. However, in a ball game, sometimes this happens. Even though the team's in a drop back, occasionally an individual player will press out on his man, and so it isn't too bad. But basically, what we're asking is for the defense to drop in this particular drill from 11, 12, and 1. All right, here we go. Penetrating in, and we want to kick that point out a little deeper. There it is. Keep that triangle configuration. Ball to 2 when it can get there. Nice, quick, and there. Very nice shot. Ball kicked up from 2 meters out and to the 11 o'clock position. And that's where we're working that shooting specialist, left-hander sitting on the top side out there. And, that's the idea, training specialists in each of these 3 outside positions. All right, attack in. Now, remember, we can only stop the clock if the ball's at 2 meters. All right, there's the shot. The goalie just simply looking away. The ball's forced up a bit there, but a goal is a goal, and you've always got the green light if the goalie is, looking away. All right, we're just going to reset the triangle again and move our people around. And the key thing that we need to do is attack in on the defenders. We need to commit those outside defenders to the ball. All right, ball's alive, attack in. Got the commit, ball's up tight, okay. Overpass, that'll happen, but this is where that 2-meter specialist really needs to train those passes. All right, the ball to the freest person. In this case, it was the point, back to the freest person, taking the time across, and for the quick release shot from the 1 o'clock position. Now, 1 o'clock was getting pushed up a little bit too tight there. We don't want to crowd our 12 o'clock position. All right, here we come in again. All right, there's the quick shot, quick release. And this is the quarterback. That gentleman sitting out at the point is really the quarterback. We really want a shooter that can go left or right and really read and see when that goalkeeper is screened out by the 2-meter man and the guard defending. All right, a little bit of an overpass, and this is why we run the right from the basics, those easy drills first to really work on getting the ball not only passed, but passed to where a shot can be taken. Ball's back a little farther there. All right, up and over, always to the 2-meter man when they freeze up, always showing a little more patience. Nice, okay, the good idea on the cross pass, but the ball was thrown way too low, and with a shot, we get what we call a shovel shot. The elbow is down in the water. It's almost impossible to score from a pass from that position. And this takes us clear back then to drill number 1, and that is that passing between 11 and 1 and positioning the ball so it can be shot from the quick release. All right, ball with the freest person, attacking in to the 2-meter man. Ball is out to the perimeter, overpass again. As I say, we're working without a 2-meter specialist in this particular drill. All right, there's the foul. The ball is kicked back up. Nice pass out that time. We've got to keep that triangle configuration. We've got to keep that point moved out, because that is what frees the passing lanes in this. And we don't want to crowd the point, but we need to keep the point kicked out. All right, there it is. Ball's back out to the point, to the freest person, the quick release, and a very, very nice shot through and into the cage. All right, this should give us a pretty good idea of how the 4-on-4, really the heart of the 3-3 offense, really works against the defense. Now, although we won't demonstrate it at this point in time, another drill with the 4-on-4, which really works very well, is just simply lead this into a counterattack. Simply put an extra ball in the cage for the goalkeeper, and when the shot comes, no matter where the shot goes, kick off with the counterattack and try to keep the ball alive down, and you can either then stop it at that point and reverse it and flip-flop the offense and defense, or you can counter the counter. And so it's a very logical place to be able to practice counter drills going 4-on-4. Following the counter drills, which, as we've just said, are working beautifully off the 4-on-4, we now move to what would be the final step, and that would be 6-on-6. And we put in now the wing forwards and the left and right side, and we work 6-on-6. Now, there was just simply a shot from the hole. And if this has worked right, we're either going to be able to find the free man on the top in the triangle, or clear out the middle so that we can work the ball through to a shot, as we just saw there, or an ejection. Okay, working the ball, nice triangle configuration, 6-on-6. The hole opens up, back out with a backhand. If it had been higher, it could have been put up right to a shot there. Now, I would not recommend a lob. What would have probably been nice there would have been a big chest fake and right over to the 1 o'clock for a shot. But I'm not saying don't take a lob either. If it opens up, take it. But you're not going to shoot a lot of lobs in this. This is pretty basic power shooting type of offense. Okay, working in the triangle, attacking in. Remember, we can only stop the clock. There's the quick release. Very, very nice shot. But remember this, we can only stop that 35-second clock when the ball is put into 2 meters. So following the rules, the ball is always with the freest person outside, but also always to the 2-meter person when that position frees up for the inbound pass. All right, attacking in. Okay, now there is an example, and we just put that in for a second just to show you that you can, if you're getting too much of a drop and you've got a left-hander in both spots, on the top outside and the inside wing, you can take a shot from over there. That pass would have been better off, however, coming from the 1 o'clock cross rather than from the 11 and in. Okay, there's good penetration, simple power shot through to the opening in the cage. It's just critical that that outside triangle that the attack comes in. All right, there's the ball into the 2-meter man, the pass back out again, keeping it spread, attacking in, not quite attacking hard enough. See, they're waving the ball. We don't want to just wave the ball, attack in with it. Okay, attacked in at the point, put the ball over to 11 for the quick release shot, and through to a success as far as the goal was concerned. All right, now we're spread out nicely on top there. Now you really want to spread that defense. It makes it tougher to drop. All right, there was an attempt at a sweep shot. It had opened, and with a 2-meter specialist sitting in there, a big, strong 2-meter person, it probably might have been a successful shot. But that last sequence was nice from the standpoint that we really got the wide spread up on top with that triangle, and that really forces a longer drop from the D. Okay, working again. Now, here's where we are driving. Look at that, driving to a timing pass. Simply, what is taking place there is that, and we will do this on occasion, and that is that when that dropping defender, in this case off the 11 o'clock position, turns his back and loses track a little bit of the 11 o'clock man, turns his back to drop in, that's a good time with the point pass coming into the 2-meter man to drive that backdoor side, to drive that blind side with that player looking away, and then the timing pass through to the shot, and that could be run on either side. The other time that we would drive this or make it look like we were driving it would be just simply at the end of the transition in the counterattack. We might drive the first foul simply to move shooting specialists through to their proper positions. But this basically is when you would see us driving on the 3-3. Otherwise, we're really not driving.
All right, now, again, we're going to take it and move it along now to some actual game footage so we can see this thing and how effective the 3-3 can be. And we will show you the umbrella in some trouble against a drop back. But we'll also show you the umbrella very successful against the press.
Back in the studio, I would first like to thank the Long Beach City Masters for their help with all of the 3-3 drills. That was they were cold on that. We really hadn't done much in the way of a rehearsal. It was a, total coaching situation, both for the players and the coach, and I think they really did a nice job for us, and most of the stuff was correct. In fact, they did a great job. Several areas that we might have been off a bit, well, that's really good for a instructional tape anyway, because we can take a look and see what is wrong as well as right, and what has to be done to correct it. So again, my thanks to the Long Beach City Masters. What I'd like to do is look first of all and review just briefly those particular drills that you just saw, and looking here now at the board, and just follow them through in sequence, and again emphasize their importance in building the 3-3 structure to attack the drop back defense. First drill that you saw us do was simply we eliminated all of the 3 people across the front line and the point on the triangle, and just went with the 2 players here. And we worked on the good faking, tying the goalie down in the cage, getting that chest lift to really lock the goalie on, and then a nice firm pass across, getting the ball as it comes across into the hand, into the shooting position, and that's really critical. So when the ball is caught, it can be shot, and again, emphasizing as we work that the quick release. And as I say, you saw that, and that's in the simplest of forms, that's the beginning of our structure.
the next thing you saw us do was add the third person outside, the point of the triangle, the 12 o'clock position. Now, I will say this, that in the position or location of the cameras, it sometimes looked like this position was moved up a little bit more than it should have been, and a few times it was, but for the most part, that was more the camera angle than anything else. They were actually holding what we call the triangle, and the triangle is just critical, as we've said earlier, to keep the passing lanes open. But then we went and added the point position and went to the passing drill, the same as we were doing previously. Just adding the third person, locking the goalie, making the pass, maybe for the quick release here, locking on, going cross, whatever. And as I say, but that's the next step, drill number 2. Third thing we did was add the 2-meter man into the situation, but without defense. And as we said, this now really builds the center, the heart of the offense, the heart of the 3-3 against the drawback. The 4 critical players, the highly skilled 2-meter player who can get those ejections in there, who can get the shots off, or if when fouled can make the good passes, the good release passes out, helping to beat the dropping players. The shooting specialist, the left-hander, if we have him here, if not a quick release right-hander, the quarterback, the player that can put that ball low either side of, particularly when these players have screened the goalie out, and again the strong shooting and quick releasing right-hander here. And we emphasized shooting specialists in these positions. But that was the next drill. We simply incorporated the shooting specialists with the 2-meter play, the 4 players, the heart of this phase of the offense, and we worked it without a guard. And so doing, I blew the whistle and blew it very quickly, and we're really emphasizing for the 2-meter man to get to that ball, get it up. Don't paw it out, but get underneath it, get it up, and make that good release pass. And then you saw us shoot what we'd call a greenie, the quick release shot, or the chest lift and the cross pass from any of the players through to the shot. Now, after that, we made the next step up, and for the first time and again, teaching success, going from the things that we're able to do without defense, we now slowly add D in. We added the defensive player on the 2-meter man and allowed him to play, regular 2-meter defense, and put this player now in a position that he had to pass from the normal fouls. Could work for the ejections, but it could also work for the shots, but primarily still the shots were coming from out here. Again, the next step was to add the 3 defensive players and go 4-on-4. And you saw that, putting these players into a straight drop to start with. Later you can get fancier and do some gap dropping and the such and really challenge these people, but that shouldn't come early in your preparation because you really want to get success in the system before you make it too difficult. Once they've really mastered it, they'll be able to solve some of those better moves that a gap drop back might be making. But as I say, we went 4-on-4, showed how that could lead to a counter and flip-flopping at the other end and bringing the 4-on-4 back in the opposite direction. All sorts of things here that work very well in a practiced situation. Finally, we added the 2 wing forwards, and we don't want to exclude them. We went 6-on-6 then. We emphasize that the player in this position, if possible, is a left-hander, but if not, a quick release right-hander. Right-hander over here. We emphasize this being their chest, keeping their chest, on center line with the goal. We don't want to turn, particularly with a right-hander here, and turn around and get our shoulder turned around so we have to shoot backhands. We want to take this ball in our left hand, put it in our right hand and shoot it, or across our face and shoot it. We want to stay unbalanced to the cage because many times these players will drop too much and we'll be able to make this nice pass from outside to that shot. So you saw us going 6-on-6, and that was the sequence, and as I say, I think they did a nice job of demonstrating that in the drills. Now, the next thing I would like to point out before we take a look at some game footage would be the transition. As the counterattack ends, how do we get into this thing, and then do we ever drive? We mentioned in the umbrella against a drop back that, players drive through to take that guard off the 2-meter man. Do we ever drive here? Well, actually, the structure is such that we do very little driving, and but there are several situations where we can drive. One would be right after the transition.
at the end of the counterattack as we're moving into positions, as we want to get our shooting specialists into the right positions. If a shooting specialist in the counterattack ends up here and he needs to be here, we'll drive this person and just flip-flop them, drive here, flip-flop, whatever, and almost create an impression to the defense that we're going to be driving against them, where in reality we're just sorting things out. And then the last shot that you saw in the training tapes with the Masters was another time that we would drive, and that would be that in either case, whether this defensive player or this one, from the 11 or 1 o'clock position, if when they're dropping, they turn their back and are coming in and we're able to still get the ball into 2 meters, that's the key. And we don't want to do this all of the time, but certainly a couple, 3 times in a ball game. We can then, as it comes in for the foul, we're driving hard here because this man has turned his back on us. We can slip through, run the timing pass through to the left-hander shot on this side or the right-hander shot here, and that will work. But I do want to emphasize that that's not the major intent of this offense. It's just something that you can do once in a while. Primarily, it's a offense that ties the defense down by its structure and the idea of beating the defensive players because they can't move as rapidly as the ball is passed. And if the passing sequences are correct, following the rules that we have stressed throughout, I think you'll see that this can really work very, very well against dropbacks. All right, now let's take a look at some game footage, and what we're going to start with is looking now not at the 3-3, but we're going to look at the umbrella against a press, and we're going to show the success and what an umbrella, what really happens with an umbrella against a press, and why, at least in my opinion, I feel the umbrella is the best offense against a pressing defense.
All right, poolside and game time. Now we see the classic umbrella structure, and notice the press, all right? The ball is brought to 11, up to the wing, and in this case we're kicking off in a moving pick. It's not going to be able to be kept alive because the ball's kicked away from the 2-meter man, and as we'll see, we'll follow this up 2 or 3 times. We'll see what really takes place. But the point we're making in all of these is the umbrella really opens up both the driving lanes and the 2-meter passing area, or the 2-meter man's area, against a press. And that's exactly what's happening. The defense is pressing, as you can see. Now, as we watch this, we'll see a moving pick from the point position. 12 o'clock is driving. 1 o'clock crosses over the back. The ball's knocked away. The 2-meter man gets out. And now the very nice return pass, as far as I'm concerned, the real key pass in water polo back to the 2-meter man to outposition that defense. All right, now we've looked at the other end, at the end of the transition, or the end of the counterattack, the transition through to the 2-meter man. There's a moving pick, not to drive, but simply to open up the 2-meter area for a pass, and the muscle type of animal drill shot for a score. Let's look at it again. The transition after the counterattack into the front court. The press is there, out into the umbrella. The drive. Kicks the ball back out to the strong side. The hole is free because the defense is pressing out, and we get the shot. Coming back to the other end, just simply looking now, not so much at a drive, but simply the press outside, the switching defense and pressing outside. You'll see the passing coming in to outposition the 2-meter defender. Again, an umbrella really opens this up because those wings are pushed out and enables the passes to really come in nicely and free up that 2-meter man. All right, working around here again, we'll see this same situation. There's the ball brought in beautifully and out positioning the 2-meter man for an ejection type of situation. All right, now looking at another sequence at the same end, another moving pick. And but there's the press. The press opens up, the umbrella against the press opens up all types of opportunities. This is a moving pick through to a goal with the ball coming from the 2-meter man to the crossover man going towards the 1 o'clock side. And you'll see it here, and there it is, the beautiful backhand pass out for the goal. Here it comes again. The reason it went to that side is the gentleman driving the point pulled up, reared up a little bit, forcing the pass to go across to the other man. Here you can see it. See him rear up there, and as a result, the 2-meter man backhands it over for a shot from the crossover man on the moving pick. All right, looking at another situation with the defense pressing. The defense in white pressing out. There is your umbrella. The prime set moves into 2 meters. Ball is brought around. A foul on the perimeter. Goalie starts cheating out, so take the short pass, get that goalie back at home. And now, because the umbrella against the press really opens up some room for the 2-meter man to work, he's able to work to his side, turn, and shoot what is probably the most often taken shot from 2 meters, and that is turning the man. Same situation again. You can see how that press out, how the umbrella is really opening it up. Here's the pass in and setting it up so the 2-meter man can work around for the shot. All right, looking at another circumstance now is the come out in the umbrella against the press and just simply working. Here's what we'd call a crossover or moving pick in the wing position. Let's check that out one more time. But all these things open up when you're in an umbrella and the defense is pressing, because it gives you the driving lanes, but it also gives you access to your 2-meter man. One last situation here, and this is simply coming for a sweep shot from 2 meters as the 2-meter man takes the shot there. All right, the foul on the perimeter. You can see the classic umbrella there working again. There's no drives going on there now. They've just accessed the 2-meter man, and you see what we have.
Series of game footage gave us a nice opportunity to see just how very effective the umbrella can be against the pressing defenses. You know, obviously with the press out here, keeping the 2-meter area open for both the ejections and the shots that you saw coming, and so creating the best of all worlds in here, and in turn giving us all types of driving opportunities, one-on-one drives, moving picks from the 12 crossing over with the 11 or 1, and as you saw, also the 11 o'clock and the wings running what we'd call crossover picks, so I say you can really see how effective the umbrella can be against the press. Now let's stay in an umbrella, but let's move out of the press and let's put a drop back in and see what happens. And the point I want to make here is that I'm not saying that you can never run an umbrella against a drop back defense. I'm just saying that the task becomes far more difficult, particularly when the defensive team are big. It's a big team physically that can cover a lot of water just by stepping in and out. It becomes far more difficult to clear this area so that the 2-meter man can either shoot or get the ejections. And in turn, from the umbrella, sometimes we don't really create the shooting lanes to the goal against a drop back that we might like. So let's take a look now at some footage of the umbrella working against a good drop back. Moving to Poolside, the blue team is in a tight drop back. The white team is in a umbrella. There's the crossover pick. We'll look at that sequence one more time, but because the drop has the 2-meter man pretty well shut down, the ball has to come in to the driver from the outside, and you'll see the simple steal
by the 2-meter defender who's looking out and can recognize that ball coming in. All right, we're back to an umbrella. Here's a player crossing through to the other wing. You can see the umbrella forming. You can see the tight drop. Here's a one-on-one drive through. And again, you see the situation where the ball is having to come from the outside in to the driver. A rather difficult pass to make. The 2-meter man should be making that pass, but can't because the ball just simply can't get to him. All right, coming in. Here we are crossing back through, resetting the umbrella. The defense is really shutting down. Here's that one-on-one drive. 2-meter man, the ball cannot be brought to him. You can see that drop in there. Ball is kicked up. All right, here's a drive on this side, but notice, see, they're still really dropped in, making it very, very difficult to move that ball in to the set position. All right, looking at another situation, there's the drive there, but you can see it didn't move the defender off of the 2-meter man. Jammed up, we get a slight overpass there and a goalie steal. All right, now at the other end, there's the crossover. You can see the Blues in a very tight drop. Here's a moving type of pick on the top side there. Foul over on the other side, nothing. There's the tight drop. Little, quite difficult to get that ball into two. Although if you look now, and as we see a repeat on this particular sequence, as we set it up again, the white team is almost going to fall into a natural 3-3, and we see a very good possible shooting situation as the ball goes from 11 out to the point. Here it is. You can see that outside triangle is set up there now. Right there, the fake, and there's a possible shot there. But you can see that drop back really, really making it very difficult to access the 2-meter man with the ball. All right, looking at another sequence here with the drop working. Whites are in an umbrella again. There's a drive to the outside. You see the next man and the next blue drop in, and the next blue drop in, and really screen the pass away from the 2-meter man. Quite an effective drop. Here we come looking at it again. There's a crossover drive there. 2-meter man is shut down with the drop. Very hard to get it in. Tight pass, and the ball appears to be knocked away. All right, looking at it from the other end. Here's that crossover drive again. The umbrella. There's another crossover drive there. Ball is kicked to the top side. Look at, again, very difficult. Those hands are up, finding it very difficult to access the 2-meter man with the ball. Let's look at that one last time, and we're just simply looking at a strong drop back against the umbrella structure configuration, and showing that it creates certain problems that we don't have when an umbrella is working against the press. And you can see again that center area is really shut down.
Well, there was our chance to look at the umbrella operating against a pretty effective drop back, and you could see that the way they were dropping back, they didn't have far to go from the umbrella configuration. The defense didn't have far to go to really shut down a lot of passes to the 2-meter man. Again, it's possible to drive that guard off and clear this, but many times about the time you get it cleared off, somebody else has dropped back in. So with really an effective drop back, it's my opinion that the umbrella offense is a more difficult way to go. Now, let's turn this over and let's just take a quick look now at the 3-3 as we attack a drop back. And again, a little bit different concept, a lot less mobility, more stationary, certainly, out-positioning the defense with the ball movement. And as we watch now some game tape, we'll concentrate on the rules of the outside triangle, ball always with the freest man, giving it to the 2-meter man when we can get it in there every possible time, certainly to stop the clock, get the foul, maybe the ejection or the shot, whatever. But let's take a look now at some game tape of the 3-3 operating against the drop back.
All right, coming off the sprint or restart, we're going into the flat triangle. You see right there the shooting specialists moving to their spots. There's your outside triangle, your 3-3 up front. Ball always with the freest man. Coming across, looking to put it into 2 if it's available. There it is. There takes the foul. Get to the ball, get it up. A nice pass outside the hitch and the score. The Guarini type of pass. Let's look at that one again. Man moves to the ball. Shooting specialists are moving to their positions. Outside triangle, attack in, get the commit, attack in, get the commit, and then the ball to the freest man, attack in. Didn't want to put it to 2, might have been able to there, but comes in hard. 2-meter man moves to this side. There is the foul. Get to that ball, get it up quickly. Nice high pass, and the hitch, and the score. Now we'll look at a variety of scores here, showing a lot of the different situations that can take place with a 3-3 against a drop, all right? Different time now. Ball is coming in. There's the backhand, just simply showing, as we look at this again, end of a counterattack, the transition, moving the 2-meter man in, and bringing the ball around into the 2-meter man, and we don't get the backhand there, but it was there in the previous shot sequence. But again, the 2-meter shot being again a high scoring possibility from this type of a structure because it'll open up. There's the foul at 2 meters. Ball is back outside. Look at him attack in and get that man committed. And the nice cross pass to the shooting specialist, that time at the 1 o'clock position for the goal. Now look at, see the man crossing clear over from the inside at the end of the counterattack. The shooting specialist moving to his position, attacks in. There's that, gets that player committed, attacks in. There's a foul at 2 meters, back out. Now look at him come in. Again, he's got that player committed to him, comes in. There's the, and look at that ball was thrown right to a shooting position for an easy goal. All right, here's another situation. Now you can see the wing forward moving up to his spot. There's your triangle outside. Let's see it come across to the freest man, back out to the point, and there the 2-meter man has, and the guard have the goalie screened out. Let's watch that one again, and right in for the goal in the low corner. Here it comes again, back outside, comes in from 11, back out to the point, the quick release shot with the goalie screened out. All right, taking a look at another situation, and at the other end, there's that outside. Let's see how they've got that spread out, making it a long drop for the defense. All right, there's a foul at 2 meters. Ball is back out, but notice how that point is kicked out, giving plenty of room for the passes to be made. Freest man, there he was, freest man. The hole opens up, gets to the ball. There is a major foul, an ejection foul. We'll show that. And again, along with a previous backhand shot is another situation that may arise. And we'll just follow the 6-on-5 through to its culmination here, setting up the 4-2 over to the 6 spot. Back out to the point or back out to the 4 spot for the quick release shot. All right, coming down, let's look at another circumstance or situation. There's your 3-3. 2-meter man was free, get him the ball. There's the foul, kicks it out to the point, attack in, get him committed, attack in. Now, he takes the shot because he feels he's screened out, but he's not. Get the ball back, right back in. Now, there's no foul at 2 meters, but look at that nice pass. Get that white hat committed there. We do to the freest man, and a beautiful shot with a quick release from a right-hander, actually in the left-hander's position. Let's look at that one more time. There's your outside triangle, nice point position, ball over to the freest man, into the hole because the rule calls for it. There's the foul, back outside, the penetration, thinking we've got it screened out. He shoots it, goalie makes a nice save, get lucky, get the rebound, but look at your triangle stays consistent. Also the rules, the 2-meter man is free, attack in at the point, always to the freest man, and there's that across the face, quick release shot to the goal. Now looking at it from a different angle, from the goal out, we're coming down, counterattack, nothing really there. Setting up at 2 meters, there's the foul. Get to that ball, get it up, safe pass outside, gets it up, ball out to the point. Look at that look at it open up in the middle there, and he turns, and there is an ejection for a 4 meter. So we've kind of looked at a variety of circumstances, situations that can develop as we produce the 3-3 structure against a drop back.
Okay.
Well, there you have the 3-3 operating in game situations against the drop back, and you know, hopefully you can see why I'm enthused about this particular structure against dropbacks, and particularly good dropbacks. I think it just affords wonderful opportunities to create high percentage shooting. As we watched that tape, I mean, it was nice because it really presented so many of the different aspects. We saw 2-meter shooting, we saw a 2-meter ejection into a 6-on-5, saw a 2-meter working towards and into a penalty throw, and we saw the shooting from the 3 outside. We saw the 1 o'clock, we saw the 12 o'clock, and we saw the 11 o'clock positions all scoring the ball. So it was a nice chain of events showing all of the different possibilities of this particular structure against the drop back. All right, now, as we conclude this, we might add one more thing in here, which I think is important. And I think the future of offensive water polo is to really be creative. The idea has always been to beat the defense. And if we went back in the history of football, there was many years where teams could play in relatively simple offensive structures because the defense was pretty well stereotyped, pretty well set. You know, 1 or 2 defenses. The same's probably been true of basketball, but that's no longer true, whether it's football, basketball, or now even in water polo. We are seeing changing defenses requiring different solutions for the offense to come up with if they're to be successful. I know with my own community college team, oftentimes we had game plans where we might change defenses after the first foul. In other words, the first foul in the 35-second sequence, we might go from a press into a drop, and requiring again the offense to make an adjustment. You know, were we going to be pressing? Were we dropping back? And I guess that brings the next question: can we really get by just playing in an umbrella, or for that matter, just in a 3-3? Or now, is the future water polo really going to be able to run in more than one offense and be creative in either structure or in any structures? And I really think that's, you know, obviously games are progressing, and I think that's the way it's going. And as we conclude this, let's just make this point. We're looking here at a classic 3-3. What happens if the team pops out and starts to press? How long does it take us to actually change the offensive structure? Well, just long enough if we want to go, if we've been facing a drop and suddenly they press, just long enough really to bring these 2 players out approximately a yard and a half, or, you know, a meter and a half, 2 meters, and suddenly what was a 3-3 becomes an umbrella. In turn, if the other team is pressing and suddenly goes into a drop back, you can see that really the outside triangle is practically established already. Really just bringing the point, the 12 o'clock out another meter or 2 at maximum, and just simply moving these players just about 2 meters in, and you know, in a relative position to the set player, and an umbrella within a matter of a second or 2 can go from an umbrella into a 3-3. So what I'm saying is I think it's very possible to adjust our offensive structure within the 35-second clock, and I think teams in the future will be need to be prepared to do this. I really think this is the future trend as the sport continues to develop. All right, thank you, and this concludes the instructional tape on beating the drop back defense.